I will prefer control. Can you control it?
Mine's just a hotter, hotter.
You make it hotter, hotter?
Yes, it's hotter, hotter. Not.
And you put the key in there, right?
Keys in there.
Yeah, screen.
You're getting it.
Or is it coming from here?
No, you're getting it from that.
Okay.
Actually, wait, you know what?
Yeah, so everyone sent the presentations to Terry, who sent it all to us, and we're gonna pop them up.
And motion to approve October 14, 2019 agenda. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Are there any questions? Roll call?
Mr. Malone.
Yes.
Mr. Dowia. Yes. Mr. Nunzi. Dr. Gross. Mrs. Palin. Mr. Zimmerman.
Here.
Mr. Moncrief. Unable to attend. Motion carries.
Recommend motion to approve the following minutes. Can I have a motion? Second? Are there any questions? Roll call?
Mr. Zimmerman.
Yes.
Mrs. Palin. Dr. Gross. Mr. Nunzi. Mr. Dowia.
Yes.
Mr. Malone.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, board presentations. Frog Pond School update. Audrey Daniel, sixth grade student. Is she here?
She is.
The class post-science were available at budget domain. Students are allowed to bring the classrooms to school on the Scholastic Bookfair was held on October 14th to October 11th, with a family fair on October 8th. The Math Science Advocacy Program begins on October 15th. We have started our lunch for the program today. Family members are invited to come in to have lunch with their child. You can sign up online if you are coming into the school for any reason. Please be sure to bring a current form of ID. If you would like to volunteer at our school, please contact the Frog Pond main office. We are working with Shutterfly on a new fundraiser. The proceeds will go towards our sixth grade trip, and you will be able to support our sixth graders by clicking on the shop link anytime you shop on Shutterfly. Thank you to all the students and staff for supporting our sixth grade pretzel fundraiser. Thank you to all the parents, students, and staff for making this a great start to the 2019 to 2020 year. Mr. Beckman. Thank you.
Okay, George Mitchell update. Please forgive me if I don't pronounce the last name correctly. Dylan Alden Mueller, Amelia Busby, Liam Concilio, second grade students via video presentation.
Good evening. My name is John Alwaller, Liam Consolio, and Amelia Busby. We are second grade students from Mr. Tasser's class, and we are off to a great start at the George A. Mitchell School, and we'd like to share a few highlights with you. Ms. Hyman and Mr. Maxwell welcomed us back to school with an assembly. During the assembly, we reviewed all the school and bus rules to keep us safe. We also heard about ways we can earn lunch with the principals and awards for the great work we do in the classroom. The second grade students are learning how to be news anchors by working with Mr. Singh to produce the morning announcements. The students shared the events for the day and also performed skits to remind the younger students how to make good choices. The Lunch Buddy program is back. Parents are welcome to have lunch with their child in the lunchroom during their lunchtime. Many parents have already joined on the fun. Thank you to West Tuckerton Fire Department for a wonderful fire safety assembly. We learned about fire safety tips and parts of a fire truck. Congratulations to all the fire safety poster winners.
On October 1st, Mrs. Guinan started her live Facebook read alouds. Please tune into the district's Facebook page every Tuesday night at 7:30 to listen to a great story. Thank you and have a wonderful night.
Okay, student of the month, George Mitchell, Elementary School. Ms. Denise Guinan, Principal.
First up, Brianna Atkinson from Mrs. May's kindergarten class. Brianna's smile lights up the room whenever she walks in. Her cheery demeanor is contagious. She is always willing to help out her classmates and bring a positive attitude to everything she does. I can't wait to see her blossom and grow this year. Congratulations, Brianna. Hayden Parsley from Mrs. Atkinson's first grade class. Hayden comes in every morning ready to do her best. I can always count on her to be following directions and working as hard as she can. She is already becoming a great leader in our classroom. We are so lucky to have her as a member of our learning community. Congratulations, Hayden. Samantha Zimmerman from Mrs. Tascone's second grade class. Samantha is a super helper in the classroom. She is often seen assisting her classmates to complete an assignment, stay on task, or even make good choices. Samantha goes above and beyond when it comes to helping her peers, and this is making her a great student leader in the classroom. Keep up the fantastic work. Congratulations, Samantha. Andre Alejandro from Miss Barrett's second grade class. Andre is an awesome helper in the classroom. He is attentive, helpful, and always stays on task. Andre can always be relied on to help the teacher and other students. Andre is a true example of a leader in our classroom. Please keep up the great work. Congratulations, Andre.
There you go.
Back on me on three. Smile, all right? All right, 1, 2, 3, cheese. No cheese there.
All right, go take a quick look at some milk. Congratulations.
Okay, now we'll have the Frog Pond Elementary School with Mr. Thomas Denny. First one.
Good evening, everyone. Our first student of the month from third grade is Louise Taclio. Is Louise here? Hi. Ms. Rudolph had some nice things to say about Louise. Louise is an enthusiastic learner who enjoys everything about school. She's a kind, considerate classmate who cares about the feelings of others, and it's a joy to have her in my class, Ms. Rudolph. Our 4th grade student of the month, Rory Creer. Rory here? Hello. Rory comes to school every single day with a positive attitude and a desire to do her best in all subjects. She is polite and considerate to her teachers and friends, and is always willing to help others. Rory is kind to her peers and a positive role model. Congratulations to Rory for a job well done from Mrs. Saylor. And in 5th grade, we have Giovanni Carnes. Is Giovanni here? I think I see Giovanni, but I'll still read his. It says, Giovanni, I am proud to nominate him as Student of the Month. Giovanni comes into the classroom every day with positive energy. He always puts forth 100% effort and tries his best. Perhaps even more important, he truly cares about his classmates. He goes out of his way to make sure everyone in need gets a helping hand. Our slogan this year has been, be the change you want to see in this world. And with students like Giovanni, I see nothing but great things in our future. Signed by Mr. Ball. All right, for 6th grade, I actually have 2 Kiras. First, Kira Kazuba is without a doubt our pick. Oh, come on, Kira. I'll wait for you to come up. Kira is without a doubt our pick for a student who displays the Frog Pond core values of being safe, respectful, and responsible. Kira comes to school each day with a quiet smile, positive attitude, and desire to learn. She interacts well with her classmates and teachers, as well as her bus driver and the cafeteria staff. In the classroom, she is resourceful, using materials that will enhance her learning and advocates for herself appropriately. Kira is able to find a balance between socializing with friends and being productive throughout the day. We are pleased to have the opportunity to watch her learn and are proud to have her represent 6th grade as Student of the Month, signed Ms. Bassett. And the last one, Kira Knapp. I saw Kira, come on up. Kira is a 6th grade student in Mrs. Mass's class. She is a sweet girl and enjoys being in school. Kira loves to read and shares what she is reading with her teachers and her classmates. She is happy, Ms. Massa is happy to have Kira in her class this year. It's going to be a great school year. Sign Ms. Massa. Congratulations, everyone.
Mr. Ducey, you want to join up?
All right, guys, on 3. You want 1, 2, 3, choose. Perfect. Thank you. Congratulations.
Don't forget cookies.
We have some more presentations coming, but if any of the students and family want to leave, they can do so now. If so, if you're going to leave, take some cookies and milk, please.
So nice meeting you. Sorry, Lee.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Great update. Hey, cookies.
Okay, now we're going to have our presentation state by assessment participation.
Good job. Pretty good. That was good. That's good.
Okay, now on to the presentation of statewide assessment participation and performance results by Mr. Ankapura, Director of Curriculum and Instruction.
Good evening, everyone. I guess this topic really cleared the room. We're going to be talking about statewide assessments, and I do apologize for the length of this, but we do have some additional requirements from the NJDOE for what we need to present, which include more than just our state assessment results. I'm going to start this evening off with the New Jersey Student Learning Assessment, and that has replaced PARC. So that was previously the book we had administered in 3rd through 6th grade. Now, for short, we call it the NJSLA. So with 6th grade, you can see that we have 5 areas that we're looking for. And in 2019, we had approximately 58% of our students that were meeting expectations. Meeting expectations means that they have a 4, which is meeting, and then also exceeding together. This approaching category is what we have been focusing on here in Little Lake Harbor for the past couple of years, kind of moving that group from this approaching area to the meeting. So you can see with 6th grade ELA, we really did a nice job of moving that group and reducing that and increasing the number of students that met expectations. This is an additional piece that we have to present on, and that's really starting to look at our subgroups. We did a little bit of this last year, and then when we met as the Board of Education, and this breaks it down to how we performed 6th grade ELA with our district, with our general education population, students with disabilities, if students have a 504, and then if they're economically disadvantaged. One thing I want to highlight with 6th grade for this subgroup is that for our district, the state proficiency was 56%, and you can see from here we were above it. So we were 57.7%, so we were higher than the state average. With 5th grade ELA, we had approximately 50% of our students that were meeting or exceeding expectations. And again, we shrunk that approaching group that we were looking to focus on and target when it came to ELA instruction. This is the subgroup information. We still are seeing, so if you look in 5th grade, we are below the state proficiency. When we look at our subgroups and we break it down, we can see that our general education students are above the state average. And really the area that we're focusing on is that students with disabilities, so students with IEPs, trying to improve that proficiency. We only had about 18% of students with IEPs in 5th grade meet the expectations for the state assessment. In 4th grade, we had about 37% of our students that met or exceeded expectation. We did increase the cohort, as you can see. We can kind of see how they did in 3rd grade to 4th grade. They did improve. But we still are below the state average, which is about 57% of students that are passing. So that's definitely a group of students we'll be focusing on as they move into what will be 5th grade for this year. Our 3rd grade ELA, we had 39% of them pass, and that approaching group kind of stayed, that's typically where we fall each year with our 3rd graders. We do take into consideration that it's the first year they're taking the assessment, in addition to them using technology to actually take an assessment for the first time. So an initiative we pushed out for this year is we're almost one-to-one in 2nd grade with our Chromebooks, just to kind of get them on, with using the technology within ELA and math, so that we can, in hopes of improving the scores in 3rd grade and overcome that technology barrier. And you can see that the state average is about 50%, so we do have some work to do there. And again, our special education population, about 11% that are proficient there. So these are just a couple of different graphs that I just wanted to show you. So basically this is ELA, this is same grade, different students. So you can see how we are, when they're in the same grade and they're different, we've increased from year to year here. We had a little bit of a dip when it came to 4th grade. Over here, we're right around the same 52%. That 6th grade ELA did a nice job, and then this is an overall. So overall, when we look across 3rd through 6th grade, we are improving, and that's really important for us this year because we are having a full QSAC, and they look at 2 pieces of information when it comes to ELA and math, not only just proficiency, which of course is important, they look to see are our students growing. This is another way to look at it. So same students, consecutive grades. So when they went from 3rd grade to 4th grade, we increased there, very important. This jump from when they were in 3rd grade to 4th grade to 5th grade, we increased there, and then third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So basically what this tells us in short is the instruction that we're providing in ELA for differentiated instruction, moving towards a workshop model, the guided reading approach, all these things are working with improving our ELA scores. A couple of ways to look at it when we look at some groups. This is our gender. So with ELA, we have 54% of our female students that are passing, well, where with males, only 39% are passing. Over here, this is by program, so free or reduced lunch, that would be socioeconomically disadvantaged. The proficiency rates for our gifted students each year, we're right around that 95% mark. The 504, special ed, and general education. So you can see over here, we are staying right around that the state average, which is about 50. This is looking at it by race. And then this is an area that we are focusing on this year, and that's one of the board goals and one of our district goals, is to focus in on all students, but specifically looking at our special education population. You can see from 3rd to 4th grade, we had 10% and then 12, so we are increasing. And from 3rd to 4th to 5th, we see around the 25% mark. We did increase from 5th to 6th grade, you can see that from 19% to 26%. But when we look across all of our grades, only about 20% of our special education students are passing this assessment. And now we're going to look at some math scores. So our 6th grade math is about 28% of our students that are meeting and exceeding expectations. You can see here, we did our approaching group, really stayed about the same, partially. And then over here, we did increase the number of students that are not meeting expectations. It is a bit of a drop from what they did in 5th grade, and I'll show that in a graph in a second. When we look at 6th grade, with our subgroups, again, that proficiency is right around that 28, and then general education, about 33% of them passed, and then same thing with 504, students with disabilities, only 6% passed, and then socioeconomically, 18% passed. Now you can look that the state proficiency was about 41%, so we are lower than the state average when it comes to 6th grade math. 5th grade math, we had about 35% that were proficient, meeting or exceeding expectation. We did increase the number of students in that approaching range. However, if you look here, we did decrease the number of students that were not meeting. So we are moving across and moving up. The bar graph does a better job of showing that. This is looking at our subgroups. It's important to look at our general education population too, to kind of show in comparison to the grade level. So while the grade level was 35%, the general education was about 42%, so that's just under that state proficiency. In 4th grade, we had about 35% that were proficient. You can see this is an area that increased, however, we decreased both of those. So we are making growth. Same thing here. Students with disabilities, again, only 9% that are passing. Definitely an area of concern. 41. And so the 3rd grade, we had 41% that passed the district. This is general education, we had about 43%. And then as students with disability, this is higher, 25% when it comes to the passing rate. Now, our state proficiency was 55%, so we are below there, so that's an area we're going to focus on in addition. The bar graphs do a nice job of showing that. So when you look at grade 3, this is the same grade, different students. We did increase our overall proficiency. You can see that we were, for the past couple of years, we were taking part. We were around that 34, 35, 36. This year we had 41%. We did see a little bit of a dip in 4th grade. It is important to point out that we did have an increase in the number of students that moved into that grade level with IEPs. In 5th grade, we stayed right around the same, slight dip here. And then in 6th grade, this is, again, same grade, different students. In the past couple of years, they've been about 39, 37, 36, and then we had 28%. Overall, we're slightly below in math in all grades from where we've been performing in the past couple of years. This does a nice job of showing those same students, that cohort, as they move across. So you can see we increased the proficiency from 3rd to 4th grade, we increased it from 3rd to 4th to 5th, and then 3rd, 4th, 5th we increased, and then we did see that drop in 6th grade. Overall, we have about 38% proficiency when it comes to math achievement growth. Again, this is looking at it by gender, pretty equal, 36% female, male. This is by program, very similar to what we're seeing across both content areas with ELA. Our gifted population is performing better. Our general education is teetering around that 40 to 50 mark, depending on the year. And then our special education population is definitely an area of concern with proficiency. This is looking at it by race. And then this is same grade different students, looking at those cohorts. You can see just a slight drop here when it comes to our general education. Look at it this way, different students are going slightly up. The next piece, assessment that I'm going to report out on is the dynamic learning maps, and that's basically our alternate proficiency assessment for students with disabilities. This is for our most profound population of special education students, and there's specific criteria that they have to meet in order for them to be opted out of the SLA and have to go in and take the dynamic learning map. In the past, we never really had to report out on this information, so it's fairly new. So just to give you an idea, there's 3 areas. It's emerging, approaching the target, and at the target. And so in 3rd grade, we had 2 students that took this assessment. And when it comes to ELA and math, we had them both emerging. So they are still in this area, almost thinking about it as like a 1, 2, and a 3. In 4th grade, we had 2 students. One was emerging, and the other one was approaching. And then in math, we have 1 that was at target and 1 that's emerging. For 5th grade, we had 3 students that took it. 1 is at target, 1 was approaching the target, and 1 was emerging. We had in math 1 student approaching the target and 2 emerging. And then in 5th grade, they take the science assessment. And for the science, we had 2 students that were emerging, and then the other student could not be tested. They weren't here for the date of the assessment. In 6th grade, we had 3 students that took it. 1 student was at the target, 2 was emerging. And then in math, 1 student approaching, and then 2 were emerging. So we're learning more and more about this continuum each year. It is fairly new. It's our 2nd or 3rd year with using this. Prior to this, we did an APA, which was a portfolio-based assessment. So this assessment is more task-oriented, and it's one-to-one with the special education teacher. So as we start to see the assessment data come back, we're starting to link the tasks specifically to the instruction that we provide to these students. The WIA access testing, that's for our students that are in our ESL program. Those are our ELLs. So to give you an idea, this is the continuum. And basically, in short, what this assessment is looking to do to see if we are providing the proper instruction and that students have the ability to acquire enough language for them to be exited from the ESL program. So it's all about language acquisition. And it starts as a 1 and goes all the way to reaching. And in order for us to exit students, they need to score on this assessment a 4 or a 5. And typically after 3 years of instruction in ESL, we do see that growth enough to exit. So most of our ESL students are at the primary level. So you can see that in kindergarten, we had 1 student that was developing, 1 that was expanding. In 1st grade, we had 1 emerging, 2 developing, 1 expanding. 2nd grade, we had 1 emerging and 2 developing. 3rd grade, 1 expanding, and then in 6th grade, they were developing. So then we had 1 student that took an alternative ELL test because they had an IEP. And then this is something, although it's not really required, I did want to highlight because the board has been tremendous with supporting our initiatives with curriculum and instruction. And I just wanted to show you that some of the changes that we brought forth with our curriculum, starting in kindergarten and rolling up to 1st and 2nd grade, they really are making a difference. And the positions that you're allowing us to add, such as the coaches and the lead teachers of assessment, they are making a difference in providing job-embedded professional development for our teachers. And this kindergarten performance band, we call that because we have different sets of data that we look at to see how students are growing. And just to give you an idea, this is the end of kindergarten, so now this is our current first grade, which we just finished our collecting our assessment data. And we had 70% of that grade level leave kindergarten on grade level. Now, in comparison, the prior year, so this, our current second grade, when they left kindergarten, we only had 35%. So we've definitely increased in students that are leaving grade level at the benchmark. When we look at our writing benchmark and we look at our reading and writing scores when it comes to norm data, our students are faring very well, and we're seeing that progress. In first grade, we had almost 50% of them. In comparison, we had about 36% in the prior year that moved to beyond grade level. And then in second grade, we had 61% of them, and in the prior year, we had about 46%. So there is a big difference in what we're seeing with the curriculum and instruction that we're providing. So in closing, just to talk about some notable achievements for us, our ELA 6th grade, the achievement was above the state average. Our ELA growth and proficiency across many grade levels has increased, and I truly believe that's a testament to the change in our curriculum and adding the literacy coach position to allow teachers to receive support as they need it. Our grade 3 to grade 4 math growth and achievement, and then grade 4 to grade 5, the growth was an increase, and then our participation rate in our assessments is 98%, which is higher than the state average. So moving forward, here are just some intervention strategies that we're going to be doing in district. We have our instructional coaches, and then I just want to thank you again for allowing us to add the math coach position, so that way we can target some of the deficiencies we're seeing in math. Our teacher leaders in each school, so that's our Title I coordinators, our lead teachers of assessment, all of them have been tremendous in helping me and helping the teachers with unpacking the data. We have a strategic transition plan from pre-K to K, and our principals and some of our teachers are participating in professional development to improve that. We have standards-based assessments that we're incorporating and utilizing in the classroom. We successfully transitioned George Mitchell School to a school-wide Title I program, and what that means is that we are allowed to use our Title I money for anything to improve and enhance the overall quality of the school. We no longer have to target students that meet a specific criteria. So we have a lot of flexibility in the interventions we can provide to our kindergarten through second grade. We have lots of new instructional programs, including K-2, where we have rolled out Foundations, which is our phonics program. We have new intervention programs for basic skills in the upper grades. We use Just Words for students that are falling below grade level. We were able to revise curriculum over the summer, reading and writing, and include some of the foundations and phonics pieces. We have new instructional resources. We are part of the New Jersey tiered system of support. This is our second year of having a state coach coming in and working with our teachers in grades K to 3. And then in 2nd through 6th grade, we have an RTI period, which is basically a time for students to receive interventions, and it does not conflict with their core instruction. So they receive their reading, writing, math, all their core subjects, and then in addition to that, they have a period that they can work on interventions. So I know that was long, I apologize. Any questions? Thank you. All right, thank you.
Okay, our next presentation is the Ssds submission report. January to June 2019, HIP self-assessment. Truzelino.
Good evening, everyone. I present this twice a year, so if you've been on the board and you attend meetings regularly, this is a twice a year type of report. The Ssds is our student safety data system. It replaces the former EBV-RS program and other bullying data collection system. This data is used for several different federal and state requirements that you can see listed there. There are several incidents that are submitted into this system. Incidents are either going to be founded HIBs, acts of harassment, intimidation, and bullying, or they are incidents that qualify to be categorized as an act of violence, vandalism, weapons, or substance abuse incidents. We also submit in there a category called other incidents leading to removal. So those would be students that might have an in-school or an out-of-school suspension, however, doesn't meet the criteria of being violent or vandalism or a weapons offense. Also, we do submit all HIB investigations, even though they were unfounded. Those are reported as well. And any HIB trainings and programs that the district participates in. And we do collect this data for all 3 schools, including the preschool. So I'm reporting to you tonight in regards to the second submission, which was due in July. However, they don't have us reported out until now. And I'm also showing you our total end of the year numbers. So in regards to HIB trainings and programs, you can see that we offer a lot of trainings. In the second submission, we had 18 trainings and 34 programs. And for the entire year, we have 51 different types of trainings and 62 different types of programs that would support positive student behaviors. These are the incidents that I described to you. So for the second reporting period, for the Frog Pond Elementary School, we had a total of 7. None of them rose to the level of violence, vandalism, substance, or weapon, but we did have 7 of those were confirmed HIBs. We also had some suspensions the second half of the school year at the Frog Pond School, and we conducted 20 HIB investigations that were determined to be unfounded. However, most of the time they're handled, even though they don't meet the definition of an act of bullying, we still handle it as a discipline code of conduct violation. At the Mitchell School, there was only 2 incidents. Both of them were confirmed HIB cases, and there were 5 additional investigations that were unfounded. In the Early Childhood Center, there were no confirmed HIBs or acts of violence or vandalism. We did have 1 investigation that was unfounded in the ECC. And you can see for the second reporting period, we had 9 confirmed HIBs across the district and 26 that were unfounded. For the entire school year, for all 3 schools, Frog Pond had 12. 12 of those incidents were confirmed HIBs. 1 was considered an act of violence, and there were 28 investigations. In the Mitchell School, we had 3 total incidents. They were all HIBs type of incidents. The Early Childhood Center, again, did not have any. But what really is striking here, we had 14 confirmed HIB cases and 38 investigations that we conducted that were unfounded. So we're actually doing a lot of investigating. We take all accusations or potential HIBs very seriously, and we investigate all of them that come our way. So our anti-bullying specialists are very busy. So again, even though it may not be a confirmed HIB, we still will address those student behaviors that were exhibited. Some different programs that we do, I'm not going to read over this entire list, but we have various different types of assemblies and spirit days and student recognition, and also a lot of parent and student programs to make our community more positive and more cohesive. We are always doing different trainings for our staff throughout the entire year. Our anti-bullying specialists, our ABSs, they attend trainings throughout the year. They meet throughout the year, review data. At faculty meetings, we're always training our staff. We're also doing a lot of book talks with our staff, with specific staff members to improve their skills. The Early Childhood Center really took off with their parent academies last year, supporting parents. And staff in all 3 schools went through CPI training and recertification. The second part of my presentation is in regards to our HIB self-assessment, which has to be done every single year. It gets board approved in October, so this is our anti-bullying specialist with the school safety climate team review really our performance on 8 different core elements that the state had. And this is being board approved this evening and will be submitted to the board tomorrow. To the state tomorrow, and the NJDOE will release the official findings after they review our data in the spring. As you can see, our 3 schools rated themselves pretty highly. The Frog Pond School was a 77 out of 78, even though I could have argued that to go higher, but our anti-bullying specialist with the school safety climate team wanted to give it a 77, and I'm not arguing with them. They wanted to improve a little bit more on the information that we provide parents on our district website, so that is going to be one of our goals this year. So some of the other focus areas is to continue training our volunteers, our substitute teachers, our community school staff, and our newly hired staff. We want to make sure we're doing that training throughout the entire year, not just at the beginning of the year. We also, like I already mentioned, want to include more information on our district website for parents to refer to. We're continuing with our consistent behavior expectations throughout different areas of our school. Our school climate and safety teams are going to be meeting and making suggestions for individual schools based upon the school data. Right now, we are tackling bus behaviors and really trying to work hard in getting all of our bus drivers on board and supporting us as well, and recognizing students that are doing the right thing on the bus. And we, of course, want to continue to provide professional development for our staff in various different areas, including social and emotional learning and best practices for our classrooms. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, for our last presentation is ESIP presentation from Ms. Dieselford.
I'll make it quick. Are there any questions? Steve Siegel, Stiesel Architectural Group. As most of the board knows, we've been working with the district for a few years. And just the last few months with this energy savings project. So we're at the point now where we've finished our initial investigation and have developed a list of potential projects that we're going to talk to you tonight about. Keep in mind, the ESIP program is a very high-level program that pays for itself through the energy savings. So the idea with these projects are you get as much as you can done within these projects for the savings they produce, so it doesn't impact taxpayers or your budget. With that being said, there are projects that you can't fit everything in because not everything is energy savings. And whatever you do fit in, you get some sort of discount on. It may not be what we would do in a normal bid scenario, but it does get you closer to where you need to be with some of your controls and lighting and things like that, which we're going to talk to you about tonight. So our partner tonight is ESG, and they are an ESCO company, energy savings company. And they're going to be talking tonight a little bit about the detail of the energy savings plan that was put together. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Greg.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us. My name is Greg Burns from ESG, and we are the ESCO working alongside the district staff, Nick and Seth, and Stiesel. I'm just running through the agenda, just give a quick overview of ESIP, go over the summary, and then I'll turn it over to our engineer for the scope of work, and then just the timeline of where we're at and where we're going. So as Steve said, the ESIP has no impact on the taxpayer, which is a better option than I shouldn't say better option, but a different option if you're a taxpayer, because the bond referendum and lease purchase does have an impact to the taxpayer's dollar. ESIP is funded through those energy savings that would be installed. So now here's a high-level budget example. This is not specific. This is really just for illustrative purposes. So as you see here, the before column, that's what's going to Atlantic City Electric right now, New Jersey Natural Gas. So that's what you're going to pay year over year no matter what. So during an ESIP project, you're still paying some there to the utility companies, and then the red portion here is designed to pay off the funding that's used for those ECMs, the energy conservation measures that are installed. And then the green is the additional savings throughout that period. And then finally, once that is all done, you're able to realize a reduced energy spend as well as additional savings that the district has free will to spend wherever they deem necessary. So I know it's been brought to your attention, just kind of wanted to go over the two scenarios available, both of which include the same exact scope. And you'll hear a lot of acronyms. Energy conservation measures, or ECMs, is the scope of work that's actually would be installed, like new lights, for example. The measurement verification portion there in scenario 1 would be the energy savings guarantee. So we would guarantee that savings for a year. As part of that, it would require capital contribution to be cash positive. Scenario 2 is the same exact scope of work, but the district would not have to outlay any capital, and it would not come with a guarantee. Again, these are still preliminary, working through everything. But those are the two scenarios of the same project. Again, and then here are the numbers. I'm going to turn it over to our lead engineer, Alex, to run through these. But these are just to preface it. These are just preliminary numbers, but we feel good with where they're at. But I just didn't want to be held to every dollar. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to run through the project summary. So the project we're looking at will have a total cost or a total value of improvements of $2.4 million. This will result in a total savings of $3.2 million. There will be rebates paid to the district from the utilities, which will have a value of $39,000. Currently, the total annual utility spend of the district is $434,000. Once the project is completed, this will be reduced to $306,000 a year. And with project completion, there will be a positive cash flow to the district of $130,000. I'd like to now go into some of the details of the project. So one of the largest components will be a district-wide lighting upgrade. You can see here that we have a couple of example pictures of what is currently installed throughout the district in various different classrooms and conference rooms. In general, we will be upgrading fluorescent and metal halide fixtures to the latest LED technologies. These come with two different benefits, reduced energy consumption as well as increased lifespan. So you'll be spending less energy running the lights, and you'll be replacing them less often. In addition to this, we will be doing building envelope repairs and improvements. In general, this will be improvements to insulation as well as a reduction in infiltration to the building. The idea is when it's hot outside, cold outside, you want to be spending less energy heating and cooling the building. For electrical improvements, there's a few different places we'll be tackling. The first is high-efficiency electrical transformers. There are transformers throughout the district that basically convert between different voltages of electricity. These are generally older. We will be replacing them with new high-efficiency versions that will perform the exact same task, use less electricity. Next will be a combined heat and power plant. Basically, by burning natural gas on site in an engine and then reclaiming the heat energy, we will both be producing electrical energy as well as reclaiming that heat energy and using it for both space heating and domestic hot water. The third category would be the reduction in phantom loads. So things like computers, refrigerators, printers, things like that, they're always using electricity. For some of these devices, particularly computers and printers and everything like that, we can control them during the off periods overnight so they're no longer using this electricity and reducing the overall cost to the district. You can see some examples of those electrical improvements. In the top left, you have BERT, which would be your plug load controls for things like printers and coffee makers. In the bottom left, it would be an example diagram of a combined heat and power plant, which is producing electricity as well as reclaiming that heat. And on the right side are some examples of existing transformers, both in Frog Pond and George Mitchell, and what a typical high-efficiency transformer replacement would look like. Next is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. The big thing that we'll be accomplishing here is a brand new building automation system. This has a few different benefits. Firstly, improved scheduling and optimization of existing units. Basically, we'll make sure that we're heating and cooling when we actually need to be heating and cooling when school is occupied. In addition to that, it allows you to introduce new advanced control strategies like optimized host times. Basically, it will allow the building operators to better monitor and control all the buildings in the district for better comfort and energy consumption. We will be replacing a few different rooftop replacements that provide heating and cooling to the building. The ones that we'll be replacing are at end of life and lower efficiency. By replacing this, we'll be both improving the energy consumption of the building as well as the reliability of the equipment. Same thing for the air conditioning and furnace replacements. Older equipment that no longer runs properly will be replaced with new and improved versions. For the remaining rooftop units that aren't being replaced, they will be refurbished and improved with new refrigerants, cleaning, and maintenance. And we will be installing new temperature sensors on the existing walk-in cooler and freezers in the kitchens, which will better monitor temperature within the units for food temperature control and energy savings. A few examples of this are in the top left. You can see a walk-in cooler in the George Mitchell School, followed by the replacement temperature sensor. On the right side, you'll see an example of an old, out-of-date rooftop unit and an example of what a new one would look like below it. And in the bottom left would be an example picture of what the building automation system would look like that would control the equipment on site. Finally, we will be addressing plumbing. We will be going through and replacing existing fixtures' valves and tuning them properly. This will allow for reduced water consumption throughout the building while still maintaining all required water flows for all different fixtures. I'd like to turn it back to Greg to discuss the timeline. Thank you.
And then going back through just the timeline is so where we're at, really where we started a few months ago, field walkthroughs and all that. But the big point tonight is for the two approvals, so you can see what would be approved tonight. So the energy savings plan, the ESP there, is the scope of work that we would plan to implement as part of this project. And then moving forward, you can see down there in November, there would be 4 more approvals that would be needed to continue moving forward with the ESIP project. And I guess I'll leave it to any questions or turn it to Steve.
So, assuming everything gets approved tonight, the next steps, as Red was talking about, we have to then start the design, which is listed there as 1015. That's really when we start to get into the nuts and bolts of designing all the systems that produce these energy savings that ESG has put together here for you to review tonight. So we would have to go through and do a design process just like a normal bid process. We'd some go out to bid. The goal would be in January timeframe, February, and then start some of the work in late spring and over the summer work. There's also a lot of checks and balances with this program, so you will have a third-party review, which is also on the agenda tonight for review. That's a third-party company that the board hires directly to basically check the plan and savings and make sure they were done per BPU protocol. So there are checks and balances throughout the whole process through this, and so I just want to point that out as well. So with that, is there any I think I just turned it off. Questions? Great.
Thank you.
Report of the superintendent.
Thank you. Mine's very short. Please come out and support the PTO and all of their events that they have. Please check out their Facebook page for upcoming meetings and special events. Next month's board meeting has been changed. It will be a week earlier than previously planned due to the fact that we need to get something approved for PSAC purposes. So just keep an eye out for that. Next week is school boards. So if you can attend one or more of the days, please come. A lot of the workshops are very valuable. Upcoming trends in education, school law, and there's some fun events at night for us to attend. So you're all registered and welcome to come. The schedule is available online. I also sent an email out today. You can also download the app on your phone. And lastly, we are in dire need of substitute teachers. If you know someone that would like to sub, perhaps a retired teacher or someone in the area, all you need are 60 college credits and to walk into our board office and we will set you up with the rest. So please spread the word. We're looking for substitutes. And that's all I have, Mr. Bloom.
Thank you. Residents form agenda items only. Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express each statement made by and participate limited to 3 minutes as cited in policy number 0167. The public may comment on any items on the agenda at this time. General public comment will occur later in the meeting. Do we have anybody? No? Seeing none? Board work session?
All right, I only have one thing on here. Mrs. Januzzi had asked us to look into the bus safety regulation. John Akinfor and I actually sat down and looked at it together. The first half of it really deals with the school district that owns their own buses. So there's not much that we have control over that. The parts that we have questions about, we are going to sit with Patty Manzoni from Durham. There's a section in here about the Commissioner of Education developing these student ID cards for students with IEPs. It's concerning knowing that we outsource our busing for them to have that kind of information about our students. So I do want to check on this with Patty and see if that's been past practice, and then check on the code to see if that's something we do need to provide. So the only thing that the bus drivers have at this point, from what I know, is that list of allergies and if they're on medications, which to me is adequate. You really wouldn't need to know that much about a student, especially their IEP, unless they have a one-on-one, which would be on the bus with them. So I am going to look into this with John a little bit and Patty. Then the last part, Deb, is what you were asking about the nurse. Remember you were saying that oftentimes we don't have a nurse? So this regulation states about the nurse's participation in this if it's on the way to school. So if it's on the way home, it states that if there was an accident, they would either have the parent come, or we would just take them right to the hospital, right, if it was that severe. And I know that in the morning, by the time they would arrive here, the nurse would be here. According to this, no. According to this regulation, no. So that's our practice. We've done that in our practice. Like maybe I don't know if the ECC has a special binder that they have. I know their time is much different. But I know we did have an accident once with the little guys, and we did send the nurse out because they were still here. But I don't know if it's written that we have to do that. But of course, it's good practice. And to write the report. Okay, so we'll look into that while we're working on this too. All right? But yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I don't have anything else? Any update from anyone else? See everyone at school boards next week. And our next board meeting is next month, November 14th at 6 o'clock in this room.
Okay, finance, recommend motion to approve finance items A through U. Can I have a motion? Second? Roll call.
All right. Mr. Zimmerman. Ms. Pound. Dr. Gross.
Yes.
Ms. Januzzi. Mr. Dowia.
Yes.
Mr. Malone.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Facilities, recommend motion to approve facilities items A and B. Can I have a motion? Motion. Second. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Pound. Mr. Zimmerman. Dr. Gross.
Yes.
Ms. Januzzi. Mr. Dowia.
Yes.
Mr. Malone.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Technology, recommend motion to approve technology items A through D. Can I have a motion? Second. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Pound. Mr. Zimmerman.
Yes.
Dr. Gross.
Yes.
Ms. Januzzi. Mr. Dowia.
Yes.
Mr. Malone.
Yes.
Motion carries.
New business, is there any new? No. Okay. Informational items, the following items are being presented in information purposes. A, Community Center, Community School financials for the month of September 2019. And B, correspondence from Mr. Cole, Facilities Manager. Personnel, recommend motion to approve personnel items 1 through 8. Can I have a motion? Second. Second. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Pound. Mr. Zimmerman.
Yes.
Dr. Gross.
Yes.
Mr. Januzzi. Mr. Dowia.
Yes.
Mr. Malone.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Good. Recommend motion to approve the harassment, imitation, and bullying reports as presented in executive session. Can I have a motion? Second. Are there any questions? Roll call.
Ms. Fallon? Mr. Zimmerman? Dr. Gross? Yes. Ms. Januzzi? Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Malone?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Policies and procedures. Recommend motion to approve policies and procedure items A through E. Can I have a motion? Second. Any questions? Roll call.
Ms. Fallon? Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Dr. Gross? Yes. Ms. Januzzi? Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Malone?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Informational items. The following items are being presented for informational purposes. Enrollment and attendance reports for the month ending, health officer reports for the month ending, suspension reports for the month ending, and fire emergency drills for reports for the month ending. Public comment. The floor is now open to members of the public. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express with each statement made by a participant limited to 3 minutes, as cited in policy number 0167. There's a sign-in sheet located at the podium. Please sign in before you speak. Does anybody like to public comment? No? Okay. Board forum? Mr. Dalio?
Yeah, I'd just like to congratulate all the students of the month, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Mr. Zimmerman?
Especially the ones from Georgia.
They did really good.
Dr. Gross?
I could say I like to thank the second graders because I'll never forget that. I'd like to thank the 2 administrators for their reports. Would like to comment on the statewide data. The 2 disaggregate groups are pretty consistent across all districts. Disadvantages and special ed. So I didn't want it to look like that's just a problem.
Ms. Fallon? Ms. Januzzi? I'm going to echo your comments, especially students in month. They did a great job. Don't see the second session, executive? Okay, can I have adjournment, please? Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
Any opposition? We're out at 6:33 p.m.